Hey guys, what's up? Archer here. Welcome to CSGO Tips and Tricks, and in today's video I'm going to be speaking to you about how to get better at the game. Now, this may seem really broad, but in fact a lot of people don't really know how to do this, and it's a question that comes up a lot, and whenever my subscribers add me on Steam, it's something that they ask me a lot. Just a general question: how do I get better? My number one response for them is to practice, obviously, but it's to deathmatch, essentially. Now, you can do retake servers, you can do 1v1s, and you can deathmatch, you can do anything you feel comfortable with as long as you're practicing. But, my go-to way for practicing is deathmatching. Now, I don't mean deathmatching on Valve servers where it's 64 tick, I mean deathmatching on, for example, a Frag Shack server where it's 128 tick. Because 128 tick is what ESEA servers use, it's what CEVO servers use, and if you start practicing on 128 tick, then you'll be able to play just as good on 128 tick servers, whereas if you're used to playing on 64 tick, it may take a little bit longer to get used to 128 tick. I know that my very first ESEA game, after playing all these months of 64 tick, I was like, what the hell is going on? Why am I playing so badly? And it's because I wasn't used to 128 tick. I wasn't used to that different hit registration. So just start practicing on 128 tick, and then you'll start seeing yourself get better once you start playing on CEVO servers. Now, it's obviously just not as simple as that. Once you join the Frag Shack server, for example, what you're going to want to do is have a set regimen in mind. It's like working out. You're going to want to know what you're going to want to do, and then you're going to want to, start practicing. So, say you want to get better with the AK-47. You can have, say, 100 kills is your goal. You can have 50 one-taps, or 50, you just tap to get the kill, and you have 50 sprays to get the kill. So, for that, you're going to have to at least know a broad area of how the AK-47 spray goes, but, once you get that down, you can start practicing the spray, and then practicing one-taps as well. Say you want to practice the M4 as well, you can do the same thing. Practice tapping, practice spraying. You want to practice the op, just practice flick shots, practice flick, whatever. Practice flick shots, and then practice, where you're actually aiming, where you're holding an angle, stuff like that. So it all just depends on how you actually practice, and then, just go from there. Set down a, routine that you plan on following, and just be dedicated to it. But there's something you need to keep in mind as well. It's that you can practice incorrectly. If you practice spraying wildly, that's obviously going to develop into a muscle memory, and it's not going to help you out. Whereas if you practice spraying correctly, then you're going to develop good habits. Now, the saying practice makes perfect is not a good saying. A good saying is perfect practice makes perfect. Because if you practice incorrectly, you're going to develop incorrect habits, and that's not something that we want to do. Now, another disclaimer that I want to put out before you guys actually start practicing is practicing isn't fun. I'm going to say that one more time. Practicing is not fun. It's something that you're going to start dreading. It's something that you're not going to want to, continuously do. And because I say this, I'm going to warn all of you now. Don't burn yourself out all in one go when it comes to practicing. Evenly spread out practicing, set realistic goals. Because if you set high goals, and then you end up not meeting them, you'll get burned out, you'll get discouraged, and you won't want to play anymore, which is the exact opposite of what our intentions were when we wanted to practice to get better. So, once we hit that goal, a generally low goal that we could set to ourselves before we start working ourselves higher, then we can start to see improvements, and then go from there. Now, for a little bit of for an example that you can compare yourself to, we can compare yourselves to me. Now, when I started matchmaking, I started off as a Gold Nova Master, 4-star Nova. Now, in about a year's time, when I actually put practice in, when I just die-hard practiced all the time, I got to Global Elite in about a year. A little less than a year's time. From when I got placed in the Nova Master to getting the Global Elite. Now, some people it may be different. Getting the Global Elite in about a year's time is generally pretty good. Now, I'm not saying that this will be a year's time, you're gonna have to practice for this long to get this good. You can just practice for one deathmatch at a time, one deathmatch a day, and you can generally start to see yourself getting better over time. It's not something that'll change overnight. So, that's all there is to it when it comes to practicing. You're gonna have to learn to practice correctly, just start deathmatching, essentially. That's really all you have to do. Join a deathmatch server, join a 1v1 server, join a retake server. Start getting a feel for the game, and actually start learning how to control your gun. Like, if you start learning how to control your gun, then you don't have to worry about your gameplay as much. Once you're confident in your ability, then you can start worrying about how the enemy is going to play. And then that's when you start to develop game sense, and then that's when you start to round out as a generally good player. And then, then you have teammates to bounce off of. It's not a solo game. You have to remember, once you start practicing for yourself and once you're confident in your ability, then you also have teammates that you can rely on as well. And then looking from there, watch pro demos, all that good stuff. So that's really all there is to it when it comes to practicing and how to get better at CSGO. And that's all there is to it. Thank you guys so much for listening. I am Archer, and I am signing out. Oh, wait, before I go, sorry. Remember to subscribe and like the video, all that plugging, follow my Twitter, join my Steam group. If you want to talk to me personally, I accept friend requests on Steam. If you are in my Steam group, you can ask me questions, all that good stuff. So again, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I am Archer, and I am signing out.